What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to God Within the Process. This is a sit down talk that is based on building, creating, and setting a lifestyle on a solid ground of wisdom and motivation. We are here to love, live, and learn. And yes, my name is Shahata, and this is my channel. It's Shahata. So pretty please like, comment, and subscribe. So today's topic is God will discipline you. God will discipline you. So with all that said, let us get straight into the video. I want us to speak about praying for wisdom first. How does God discipline you? God doesn't just discipline you because He wants to discipline you. He can only discipline you when you ask. He will discipline you when you want to be disciplined. But you don't necessarily say, God, I want to be disciplined. Sometimes you ask things because you are unaware that you have asked for. For instance, if you're praying on a day-to-day basis and say, God, or when you're fasting and say, God, can you please make me wise? Give me the wisdom and knowledge to be able to know what's right and wrong, right? So God sees that as a way of asking for a discipline. And you can never be disciplined if you are not wise. If you want to be wise, you are. If you are wise, you are disciplined. That's what it means. And God is that simple. God will never give you a hard time unless you asked for it. You asked for wisdom. So you have to go through discipline to get wise, to become wise. That's what God does. So before all in all, you pray for that. You find the situation that God puts you in, the uncomfortable growth, the uncomfortable seasons, the the pruning seasons that God puts you in. It is mostly because you have asked for it, but you don't know how. You can't just say, God, I want you to make me lose money. I want you to discipline me with my dreams to make them like take longer to come. No, you just ask for wisdom, and wisdom comes with experience, and you can never be experienced if you're not disciplined, right? If you notice people who are experienced, even young children, they are very they look and seem very wise and sound wise because they have had an experience that you as an adult didn't have. And you find that your reasoning and that child's reasoning, or your reasoning with that 12-year-old, is totally different with you in your 20s. Like, you don't understand what is going on, but the experience that they went through, what God put them through, is totally different from the lifestyle that you chose for yourself, right? So I want to give you like a full, like, simple explanation of how God really disciplines us. I'm not gonna make like those simple examples of our parents and everything like that. We all know how discipline goes, especially when it comes to parenting, when it comes to our parents disciplining us. We know exactly how they did that. And that is a full example of what God is really, how He really disciplines us. But in a simple form, and what happens really in life, and how He does what He does, all He does is put these simple things and put them all together, and it's either He uses them at the same time or at different seasons of, and in different seasons of your life. So those things are your time, the place, your mind, and teamwork, right? I'm going to explain them. So when he uses time, he can use the moment that you are in, the season, for instance, the pruning season, where he puts you down, sits you down, and you find that at this time I was supposed to be a musician. At this time I was supposed to be a graduate. At this time I was supposed to be um, working, or I was supposed to be making money. That's the time that God uses to discipline you. When you find that you haven't really reached that place, when you haven't reached that season where you say, I was supposed to um, be making money right now. I was supposed to be the best businessman, the best politician, the best whatever. At anything that you had in mind for your future, God uses that time. That time you were supposed to have something positive to discipline you. And he does it positively that it seems so negative, so negative, that you don't understand what is going on. Sometimes, let's say you are supposed to be a musician, for instance, and you find yourself sitting down, you find yourself going to the studio all the time, or you have like many opportunities that lead you to that place, but you find that God is putting you in that one environment for a certain period of time. It could be 5 years, could be 3 years, it could be 2 years, even a year. And you find that no, I was supposed to be producing about like 2 albums by now. And it's been 5 years, I've been in the same environment. Or I've been a musician for 10 years, right? And another example, he can, let's say, for instance, when you want to be in a relationship and you're like, God, I was supposed to be, let's say you have a vision and like, when I'm 20 something, I want to get married. And you find that you are still in the same environment where you were when you were dreaming, where you are still there, you are still sitting there. God is using that time to give you an experience so that you can have the wisdom that you prayed for, or the wisdom that you are yet to pray for, right? So God uses that environment, uses that the place that you are in to set you to a disciplined, to make you a disciplined person, right? You asking yourself, like, when am I getting married? Or when am I finding the right partner? When am I becoming the person that God wants me to be? When am I, So he uses that environment to put you there. Now, the second one is place. Remember, he uses the time that he was that you were supposed to be having something, ne? But now he uses place. To other people, he uses the place. And you find that you have been in the same place, living in the same house, living with the same people for a very long time, that you feel the need, that you are so drained. God wants, you don't understand why God hasn't found you a place to live in without these people, a place to settle in without these people. Or you find that you were supposed to be in school and God sits you down, whereas you're like, no. You can have everything, you can prepare you can be prepared, have everything, but you find that like no place is accepting you, no university like accepting you, and you specifically don't want to go to a college, or no schools are just accepting you, and you are sitting down. You don't understand what is going on, what life is giving to you. Or you find that you are going through a breakup. You are going through a breakup and you don't understand where these feelings come from. God is trying to teach you something. He's trying to give you an experience so that you take that experience and tell a story. You see, he's trying to give you a story so that you can have a testimony to speak about him, right? He needs you to testify on his words, on his glory, on his love for you, right? He will never do something that you have not asked for. He will never make you become the person that you want to be unless you have asked for it, right? So the place and the environment that he puts you in, he uses that environment to discipline you. Sometimes you find that you wake up at the same time, sleep at the same time. Everything is doing that. You're doing the same thing 365 days, 24/7. You are doing the same thing and you don't understand why God put you in this environment. It is very painful to sit in one place and you don't understand what is going on. And secondly, in the same place, God can change the environment that you are in, take you from one place to another in an uncomfortable environment. For instance, when you're working, you find that you are given a task to do something that is not of your work line, that is not of your work area. You get me? You find that it's not part of your contract, it's not part of anything that you do, but you are given that type of exercise to do. Sometimes he puts you in an uncomfortable environment so that he can teach you that wisdom takes compatibility. You have to be there. You have to be that person for that to happen. So he needs you to be there. He needs you to have compatibility, to have an energy towards what he gave you. Sometimes it's tiring to change from one place to another. You find that you're working from this place and then you lose the job. You go to another, you lose the job. You've been jobbing. You've been panding all your life. And you find that your ways are not the ways that you want them to weigh. Yeah, but God, God's ways are the best ways. They are the only ways that you should follow. And we do not know what ways God is giving to us. He just puts them, and we find ourselves in places that we've never thought we would be in. You will find yourself in a place where you're like, I don't ever think I would ever tell a story in such an environment. But trust me, when you come out of that place, when you come out of that season, when you come out of that pruning season, you will have a story to tell. And that's what God wants for you. And also, God uses your mind. Sometimes you can find yourself that, oh, I was supposed to be doing this. And now I am living in such an environment that I'm not comfortable in. But you find that you're very positive. You are thinking forward. You are thinking futuristic. You find that your dreams are not ending as much as God has put you in such a consistent environment and is not changing what he's doing. You will find that he is giving you such a positive mind. Yes, there are days where you feel drained and be like, I wake up at 6 and sleep at the same time. I wake up at 6 and sleep at 9. I wake up at this and sleep in that. In the same environment, I go to the same place every day. I wake up, I work, I come back, I sleep, wake up, go to work, come back and sleep. It's tiring because you want something new. You want something to, you want change in your environment. Remember, sometimes you can create change, but most of the time, it is all dependent on God to change you, right? Yeah. And also, he uses teamwork. God uses teamwork. How? I said teamwork because teamwork means more than two people, right? And God uses other people. He can still use YouTube, the Bible, people around you to help you pray easier, to help you pray to him. And you find yourself that, okay, I asked for wisdom, but I do not know how to pray. I asked for to be able to dance, but I don't know, I don't warm up before I do that. I asked to be the best musician, but I don't have patience to learn more. So God teaches you those things using the people around you. Trust me, in every season that you are in, there are certain people that play a certain role to help you in that season. Every season that God puts you in, even if it's the most beautiful season, trust me, somebody to help you get through that line. There's that one person you remember who helped you through that, not like through the whole thing, but there's possibly that one day somebody gave you something. It could be an advice, it could be a tangible thing that person helped you with. And that is a story, like it's often a reminder that God is disciplining you. Sometimes you find yourself, you're praying for things and God uses somebody else to brings them, I mean, uses somebody else to bring them for you freely. You get that? So it is that simple for God to use teamwork and people to discipline. I feel like it is the simplest type of discipline when it comes to God making us wise. He can use people, he can use a relationship. In some seasons, he used the people in my surroundings. He used my twin sister for me, he used my partner, he used my friends, and I was able to change like into the person that he wanted me to be, using people. Like, I would see how I treat people through them. Sometimes I would get one person giving me exactly what I like, what I usually am, and I would feel how they feel when I say such a thing, like such hurtful things. And one thing about me, I used to be Zakakansela and ifuna wena bawuziva njani. That's me. If you feel like in the or something like that, I would just continue with life and not care. But God taught me that these are the people that I'm with. I need these people, and I should have a way to speak with them. And I shouldn't speak like they need me. I need them too. Like, you get better. For instance, I fast with my twin sister. I used to do that alone, but we fast together. I fast with my partner. We like I enjoy the fasting because I have people around me. Like, he uses teamwork to discipline me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm fasting alone this season, and I find myself saying, yes, I'm fasting like in this hour. God has said I must fast, and I find my partner or my twin sister saying, yeah, and I'm talking like God. I felt like God said I must fast, and I'm like, okay, let's do it together then. And we find that everything that we ask for, it is like concrete because it is like the two of us, or like a group of us, because God hears us even more. Not that he doesn't hear us when there's one person, but he gets so over motivated to do something if we are a group of people. That's why he uses teamwork to teach us. So he also helped us with confessions, and you find that there are things you used to do that you didn't feel the need to say, like you don't want to say sorry, and God is like, chill, let me teach you to say sorry. Our word is in Hebrews 12. It says, under the topic, the discipline of God, is right here. The discipline of God, which is chapter 12, verses 10 and 11. It reads as follows: For they indeed for a few days chastened us as seemed best to them, but he for our profit, that we may be partakers of his holiness. Now no chastening seems to be joyful for the present, but painful. Nevertheless, afterward it yields in the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. You see, trained by it. Trained by it. Those who have been trained by God. The discipline of God. The people that have been trained. God will train you to his righteousness. He will never do anything without training you. Jesus was trained. Jesus was spoken to. He was trained. He wasn't just that person. He knew everything that God said because he had already had a discussion with God from heaven that when he gets down, this is what he's going to teach his people. Everybody is trained. The people that wrote the Bible, John didn't just write the Bible. Mark didn't just write his book. Nobody just wrote their books without them being trained in the Bible. They saw everything that God did. John saw it all. He had to see it all for him to speak about it, for him to tell us a story of what happened in Jesus' life. He had to experience. He had to be trained. He had to become the person that God wanted him to be. Our storyteller. That is exactly how God disciplines us. He uses time, place, our mind, and team work. So yes, with all that said, it's the end of my ear. So I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you in the next. I'll see you in the next. In the next one. Toodles.